Hello everyone, in this demo, I will walk you through the Vulnerability Management application, which is a business solution that was built on Joget. This application provides an easy and actionable command on your vulnerability management so you can finally get a handle on your security risk. Users will have the ability to import vulnerability data from a third-party software, assign vulnerability to a specific user or department to take action, resolve vulnerabilities or even request for exceptions, and finally, approve and successfully close out each vulnerability that has been resolved in the system. I am now logged into the application as a security user. The current view is the dashboard of the application where we have all of the various UI elements displaying meaningful metrics to the security user. For example, we see the number of active vulnerabilities which are yet to be assigned. Once I click on this info tile, it redirects me to the list of active vulnerabilities where I can view the category, IP address, vulnerability status, as well as their severity. Coming back to the dashboard, we have various other info tiles that populate the number of vulnerabilities which are either closed, pending approval, or have an exception. Moving on, we also see some pie charts below that show the vulnerabilities by status, category, as well as the vulnerability assignments by departments. Below that, we see a clustered bar chart which is very useful for the security user to prioritize their tasks based on the severity and statuses of each vulnerability. And finally, we also see the list of active vulnerabilities which are ready to be assigned to the respective departments. Next, we will move on to the vulnerability assignment, where we see all of the active vulnerabilities that are ready to be assigned. Here, we have the ability to import new vulnerability from your existing vulnerability detection system, such as Qualys, into the application. Once we import, the system auto-assigns based on certain predefined import rules which are completely configurable on Joget. The system will mark a vulnerability as system resolved if that was previously not closed, and vice versa, mark a vulnerability as reopened if it has reoccurred from the new import data. We also have the ability to filter these data and multi-assign or single assign the vulnerabilities to the respective departments in order for them to take action and close the vulnerability. And finally, by selecting the vulnerability and clicking on the status update button below, the security user also has the ability to override the status of this vulnerability from active to close and vice versa. Next, under all vulnerabilities, we see the historical information which are also key for reporting and analysis purposes. When I click on this arrow down button, we can see the nested list of the history for that particular vulnerability, like the date, the status, when it was first and last detected, as well as whether we have an exception for it or not. Next, under all assignments, we see all the assigned vulnerabilities as well as their statuses, whether it is still in progress, has it been closed, or there is an ongoing exception request. We can also monitor the approval status for each vulnerability based on its unique ID. Moving on, we also have a data list approval inbox where we see all of the vulnerabilities which were already closed by the respective departments, and as a security, we can go ahead to give our final approval before we close out these vulnerabilities. Another key feature of this application is that each assigned department also has the ability to raise an exception, and here we see the exception queue where these departments have requested for an exception and are waiting for the final approval from the security user. So now, I'm going to log out and log back in as the application development team. Over here is where I'm going to show you the different UI permissions that are in play in this application. We have built out a role-based user access for each user role of this application, whether you are a security user, app development team, or any other business departments in your organization. So now I'm logged in as an application development user. We can see that the menu items are very different compared to the security user, and they can only see certain items that are meant for them to perform their role-specific tasks on this application. Also, as we scroll down on the dashboard, we do not see the cluster bar chart, which shows the vulnerabilities according to their severity, which we have actually seen earlier on the security user's dashboard. Again, all of these are highly configurable according to your business needs. With that, we effectively keep track and manage the life cycle of each vulnerability end-to-end via a user-friendly but highly configurable interface. With continuous visibility and real-time data, you can gain clarity into risks and take ownership of your organization's security to ensure compliance. This completes the demonstration of the vulnerability management application built by Mokxa Technologies on top of Joget. Thank you.